Oh my God, look at that. Holy cow, that is beautiful. If you would like to see how I did this, keep watching because I'll take you through the entire process. Stay tuned. It is time to smoke this pork belly. So this has been in here for 8 days. You look at different recipes. Some say 6, some say 8. I did flip it in a couple days, but she's ready to go. So let's go ahead and preheat the grill and we'll get her on. You could easily do this by just laying the pig belly right on the grates, but I happen to have a dowel laying around and some stainless rod. So I cut it to fit. And I'll remove that bottom grate and I'll hang the pig belly in there. I think that'll work really well. When I put this in the vacuum bag, it wasn't wet, liquidy like this at all. It was really pretty dry. If you didn't catch that video, I will put the link to that video at the end of this one. Really, this liquid just kind of forms, I guess, and it's fine. You know, like I've said, this is the first time I've done this, but I just drained out the liquid and scrubbed the sink out really good. I usually do all my food prep in the sink, and I make sure that I clean it really good first and after. The cellophane that you see, saran wrap, whatever it is that I used here, originally the idea was that I would wrap it with that and it would help me get it into the bag. Well, I just bought bigger bags, and you don't really need a food vacuum bag. You would just have to wrap it up really good so you don't make a complete mess. I guess you could use a giant Ziploc bag. The vacuum part of it didn't really seem to matter. Just containing it in a bag is really, you know, what you need to do. For this part, I used a screwdriver to poke holes through and tie it to the dowel with butcher's twine. I didn't have one of those needle things that, you know, you should use. The screwdriver worked fine. You know, if I come across one of those needle things, I'll definitely get it. But all I did was poke the screwdriver through the meat first and then put the butcher's twine on the end here and poke it through. It really worked perfectly. I thought about using stainless hooks, but I decided not to because I couldn't get it as close as I wanted to the dowel. And with the butcher's twine, it really doesn't matter where you poke the hole. You can tie each one of them exactly where you want them. And that turned out to be a good idea because the thing stretches as it cooks, and the closer you get it to the dowel and the higher you get it in the grill, the better. So next time I will tie it even tighter than I tied this one. After lifting it up for the first time, I realized these ends are going to droop, so I went back and put even more string in to tie up both ends. And again, I wish I tied them tighter. You'll see it in the grill in a little bit, but it worked out fine. And here's what it looks like tied up, ready to go. I'm about to lift it up and bring it outside and stick it in the grill. Again, this is a 12-pound pig belly, and it fit in here pretty good. You'll see later in the cook, I covered the bottom with foil just to give you some perspective of how much it stretches while it cooks. It was about a 1/4 inch from the drip pan, and right now it's a good 2 inches from the drip pan. So next time I'll just wrap it with foil at the bottom from the beginning. And then here I'm putting the probe in, and from what I understand, the probe sensor is really down towards the tip of the probe. You'll notice that where I put it, it's going to touch that dowel. That turned out not to matter at all. I would do it exactly the same way. It didn't seem to matter at all. I would take better care to get it in the thickest part and also exactly in the middle. I don't think that I went down perfectly down the middle. So I would take a little bit more care next time, but it doesn't matter that it's touching the probe. I do it in the same spot.
So I've set the grill at 180. The probe's only at 50. Probe set is 150. I do have super smoke on, and that's all there is to it. I'm just gonna let it hang in there until it's done. I have no idea if this bottom here is going to get overcooked. I doubt it, but if it does, next time maybe I'll create some thing to make this higher. I just kind of did this really quick. But we'll see how it goes. It'll be in here for 2 or 3 hours. It's holding temp right at 180 pretty perfectly. You know, it goes 182, 181, the set 179. Anyway, probe is now at 115. We've got plenty of pellets. I mean, it surprisingly hasn't used very many pellets at all. Some smoke comes, you know, but this is what we look like after, it's been about an hour and a half, I think. God, it's looking good. All right, we're done. Probe is, well, it was at 150, dropped down to 149, but we are ready. And oh my God, look at that. Holy cow, that is beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and pull it off, shut down the grill, and we will let it cool.
Really surprised how little liquid came off of this during the cook. The only liquid that came off, you'll see it here in a second, right there in the foil. There was no liquid that made it out of this little foil thing that I did here. Nothing in the Traeger drip pan at all. It just really surprised me. I guess it's normal for smoking at this temperature, but if you're wondering about liquid, there's hardly any.
Oh my God. That's just unreal. That's a perfect. Whew. Okay, so this is what it looks like done. It's a little sticky from the sugar, but you know, at 150 degrees, you can totally touch it. There's not a lot of liquid coming off of it, and it's still warm. I was going to stick it in the freezer for a little while, but I think I want to slice it and just see what happens. So this is I think it took 3.5, maybe 4 hours at 180 on super smoke. And because I know I'm going to end up with some weird pieces on the ends, I'm just going to cut it right down the middle so I can see what it looks like. And if it looks like bacon or not. Oh man, look at that. Ooh, I might have to eat that piece. Oh my God. So, I've never made bacon before, but it kind of looks like it does in the store. Oh my God, it's so good. So, that's sliced easy enough. I'm gonna try to slice one piece. And, or come around on this side. And let's see if I can slice this like you would expect to. Yeah, you see that's pretty thick. This is going to be a pain to slice. So I guess the advice to freeze it was good advice, because that's a pretty decent effort, but look at that. Who's going to eat that? That's a ridiculously thick piece of bacon. So I think what I'll do is stick it in the freezer. I'm going to go ahead and cut this end off so I get, you know, clean pieces to... Actually, I need something to hold on to, right? So I'm just going to put this piece and this piece into the freezer, wrap them up in plastic, and once it's much more firm, then we'll give it another go and try to slice it. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna have to fry that up. Maybe we'll just cut one more piece to fry now. We gotta have a clean edge, right? Yeah, there we go. Now we got a clean flat edge, and we can take these and we'll cut them into cubes, and we'll get those in a pan. right away. Okay, stay tuned. So here's these little pieces that we cut up and kind of little cheap. They are coming out perfect. So they taste like, you know, if you watch the video on the cure I used, you can taste the sugar. I think you taste that. Well, I'd say you taste the smoke first, then the sugar, and then just a little hint of that chipotle at the end. Oh my God. All right, keep watching, because once those freeze up a little bit, we'll go ahead and slice them, and oh, Jesus. We'll slice them up, and I'll show you how that works. Oh my God.
Makes me want to go.
So it's been in the freezer for, I think, an hour and a half, and it's finally hard enough where I can slice it. And, you know, I'm just doing the best I can. It's super thick, though. It's almost like, you know, 2 pieces of bacon would make a meal. Ideally, I would have a slicer. I think the only way to get it really thin like regular bacon is a slicer, but that's what it looks like. I think I'll probably do maybe 6 pieces in a freezer pack. This is how much bacon you end up from that 12-pound belly. It is cut super thick, as you saw. That's the best I could do. Maybe I'll get a slicer, maybe not, but 2 pieces would be a serving. So I think I'll freeze it in 6 slice bags. And then you end up with, this was one of the ends. So I cut it into huge chunks that I will fry and make like a appetizer, pig belly appetizer. Those ought to be pretty good. And then you end up with this scrap that I'll make into just little chunks of bacon like what I was cooking before. And then you end up with just solid meat that I guess you could fry it, but this would be amazing in a soup. There we go. That'll make one serving. Very good. Okay, all done. Ready for the freezer, and this is what you end up with. 1 packet of the big squares, 1 packet of scrap, 1 packet of just pure meat, no fat, 4 packets, I'd say almost a pound each of 7 slices each, 4 packets. 1 oddball 3-pack, and 4 4-packs. So there's absolutely no waste, and it was definitely worth doing. I'd absolutely do it again. Here's a little bit of video cooking it. You have to cook it, I would say, half as hot as you would cook normal bacon. There's so much sugar in this cure, and I'll put the video to the cure I used right here on the screen. There's so much sugar in it that there's this fine line between crispy, delicious, and burned. So be patient. It came out really great. I'll definitely do it again. I hope this video encourages you to try this project. And as always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.